Trying to bring order to the chaos in our minds is probably the hardest part of any creative process, organizing the vortex, the ideas, the possibilities, the desires. Everything hits at once, always.
At least that's how it works in my head. Quick bit of context. I make videos, I take photos, I fly drones, FPV, I create content, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm about to leave for Iceland. A dream I've had sitting in a drawer for years. I need to study, I need to know where to go. I only have 7 days. Where's the best sunrise? And the sunset? What kind of content should I make? That format is working on Instagram right now. A new creator just popped up. I could do a vlog. No, a cinematic. Yeah, something like Watched Over Turkey. No, wait. Maybe a tutorial. I need a concept. But that depends on what I want to make. But what do I actually want to make? Stop. Pause. Structure.
Structure is the organized and coherent set of parts that make up a system, an object, an organism, or a concept, and that determine its form, stability, and function. It's the internal order that rules the relationships between the elements, making them not just present, but connected through a logical or functional principle.
So, let's build the structure. In this video, I'm not going to show you Iceland. I'm going to show you what's happening before I even leave, how I chose not to get swallowed by the chaos in my head, how I try to give shape to that custom noise that shows up every time I'm about to create something important. I'll tell you how I thought it through, how I built it, how I studied it, how I tried to turn disorder into structure. This isn't a tutorial, it's a process. If you don't start from the why, the content will eat you alive. And this time I try, first of all, to ask myself a question, and based on that answer, organize everything else. If I don't define the why, everything feels urgent and nothing feels important. Why do I love shooting? Why do I love spending hours in front of the computer looking for the perfect cut? Why do I wake up before sunrise just to chase a few seconds of perfect light? I do it to feel something, I do it to capture moments of life. I do it because deep down I've always felt like a thief of moments. I do it because I want to feel emotions myself first, and then because I love trying to make others feel them too. To create something that can move me again and move someone else. A storyteller, a silent thief, stealing fragments of time before they disappear. I don't steal images, I steal feelings. This might sound philosophical, not very practical, I know, but I believe everything has to start from here, because all the practical stuff, the locations, the shots, the gear, the formats, has to come from the engine that truly moves us. If I don't understand what sparks me fire, I'll end up chasing someone else. Otherwise, the content eats me alive, the endless possibilities eat me alive, the idea that I should be doing everything eats me alive. Way too often I catch myself thinking about a shot in relation to content, not to an emotion, not to a vision, but to a platform. And then the shot doesn't come from a creative need anymore. It comes from a performance need. This time I wanted to do the opposite. First understand what I want to steal, then decide what to shot. Decide before you leave what result you want to achieve and how every single shot will contribute to that result. Otherwise, you shot everything and you build nothing. My problem isn't that I don't have enough ideas, it's that I have too many ideas, and all these ideas often turn into papanka.
Papanka, a Pali term, refers to mental proliferation in Buddhism, the tendency of the mind to create excessive thoughts, stories, and commentary around simple experiences. This Baruch mind distorts reality, leading to suffering, craving, and wrong perception. In a creative context, Papanka often shows up as an overload of unfiltered ideas, constant comparison between endless alternatives, and difficulty making a final decision. It creates paralysis, scattered energy, and loss of direction. The point of the concept isn't to condemn deep thinking, but to distinguish between constructive analysis and unproductive mental loops. Papanka is the moment when thought, instead of organizing chaos, gets swallowed by it.
And the more I think, the less I choose, because every idea feels valid, every possibility feels like a missed opportunity, every choice means giving something else up. And so, stuck between 1,000 possibilities and desires, I often end up doing nothing, or I end up doing the easiest thing, the fastest thing, the most Instagrammable thing, but with no direction. That's why starting from the why is everything. Print it big, stick it somewhere you can see it, and every time your mind runs off in 1,000 of directions only to tear them all down a second later, that's when you come back to your why and use it to build or your what. Theory said, let's bring it into real life. Trip to Iceland, leaving March 6th, South Coast itinerary. Why? Because I love feel emotions and making others feel them. Moments of connection between me and the person watching. So from this trip, what do I want to bring home? And just by following this logic, the tsunami of ideas suddenly goes quiet and one clear answer shows up first. I Taste Off. Taste Off is the series I started about places. It's not a vlog, it's not a documentary, it's not a guide. Taste Off is how a place moves through me. I won't go deep into what Taste Off is. If you want, I recently published Taste of Socotra and you will find it in the comments. And that represents my vision of the format really well. So this will be my main goal for this trip. It will be my core piece of content. And from there I'll optimize everything else for the other platforms. To organize all of these, I use Milanote. Milanote is a digital visual organization tool. It's an online platform that works like a virtual board where you can collect and connect ideas, images, links, notes, checklists, and mood boards in a free and intuitive way. Unlike classic list-based tools, Milanote lets you work in a visual blocks, helping you turn scattered thoughts into a clear and structured system, especially useful in the creative process, visual project planning, and building narrative concepts. In short, it's not just an organizer, it's a space where ideas take shape before they become content. Now let's get into the most concrete part of all. How is the bridge between idea and reality? It's where the creative stops thinking and starts choosing. And now we are really getting into the practical stuff. Enough philosophical talk, I'll show you in detail how I work in preparation for this trip to Iceland. This third chapter is the hardest one because it's where you start making real choices. And every time you choose something, you automatically have to let something else go. This is where structure is actually built and where chaos gets turned off. Let's start with the first problem. Taste Off videos live on emotion. They are full of emotional highs and lows, moving between reflective, contemplative moments and more rhythmic, nervous ones. So my idea of perfection for this kind of video is Whatever Turkey by Leonardo D'Alessandri. A film that tells a story, moves you and makes you feel a place, but in this kind of storytelling, behind shooting and editing skills, I think faces, people and action play a huge role. That's how it was in my taste of Socotra 2, people talking, acting, kids playing. That helps a lot in building these kinds of film, and I think in Iceland I'm going to struggle to find that. So if I don't have people, what can I use to create this kind of movement? What can be my narrative thread? The one thing I don't want is just a sequence of beautiful images. So what are the alternatives? I've watched a lot of YouTube looking for inspiration, but honestly I didn't find a video that really hit me. I need direction, a voiceover, a main subject, a theme. After thinking, watching and making way too many copies, trying to find inspiration, there are two ideas I've decided to focus on. The first one is the one I love the most, but also the one I'm not sure I'll be able to pull off. Taste of Iceland elements. A taste of structured in 4 chapters, one for each element: earth, air, fire, water. Iceland is probably one of the few places in the world where every element makes itself felt in a powerful way, and if my goal is to capture the flavor of a place, I think this perspective is perfect. And still very original compared to the hundreds of Iceland videos online. For this one, a voiceover might work really well, but that's something I can decide later. Although, while writing this video, an idea for an intro voiceover came to me that I really like, so yeah, I think there will be one. Another important tip, buy a notebook. I always carry a small notebook with me. I write down to-dos, random ideas, anything that pops into my head. And before important trips or complex projects, I get a new one and dedicate it only to that project. It's true, I structure my projects on Milanote. There I can add images, links, everything the digital world allow me to use, but paper feels different. The project notebook is where I write every idea from the very beginning, notes, places I want to visit, ideas for parts of the taste of, a real idea, an app to check, but it's also what follows me day by day during the trip, where I write thoughts, memories, words, sensations, sort of a diary, a container, a box with Iceland written on the top, holding the chaos of my mind connected to this journey. Maybe it will just be a memory for the future, or maybe it will become something I go back to for inspiration to shape the anarchy in my head. It's a way to let my mind run free there without repressing it, without feeling guilty, without being afraid I might lose something important. Now, back to Watch Over Turkey, what makes it so special? The real direction isn't in the single shot, but in the way one image breathes into the next one. A big mistake many people make is thinking that video works because every single clip is beautiful. That's not true. If you isolate many of those clips, yes, they are good, some very good, but not iconic on their own. The heart of Watch Over Turkey is the editing, not as a technique, but as a choreography. Every image doesn't close itself off, it doesn't exhaust itself. It's never self-contained, it's always serving the next one. It's cinema of transition, not contemplation. That's the key point. We are not looking at static Wes Anderson style frames or perfect symmetry, graphic composition, obsessive spatial control. Here the frame is a bridge, and let me be clear, I'm not saying the footage doesn't matter. It absolutely does. The main glue is movement, but not just camera movement. Movement of bodies, wind, animals, fabrics, dust, architectural lines. If someone enters a frame from left to right in one clip, often the next one keeps the same visual direction. The brain doesn't perceive a cut, it feels continuity. The eye wants to keep traveling the same way, and when the direction is interrupted, the cut is intentional, dramatic, but that only happens sometimes. A very common mistake in travel filmmaking, at least in my opinion and in my own work, is thinking this clip is too beautiful to cut. D'Alessandri does the opposite. He cuts before the image saturates. That creates tension. Theory side, clear. Practical side, I still have doubts. What I will find in Iceland are massive landscapes, incredible natural places that right now, sitting at my desk, I struggle to imagine edited with fast transitions, movement and sharp cuts like I described. But this video was born to answer one word, so structure. So, enough doubts, here's what I will do. Here's the material I want to bring home. Main video, Taste of Iceland Elements. A behind the scenes in Kylie Kotievari style, more personal, more intimate storytelling of the experience itself. For the taste of, I will need epic location shots, ground and drone hyperlapses, moving camera shots, probably a voiceover, and I also want cinematic shots with a subject, useful for the BTS, and maybe to add movement into the taste of if I need it. Movement. This is the question I still can't fully answer. I think it's impossible to pre-plan all the movements I will need on location to achieve the result I want in editing. So the rule will be simple. Move. Move. In every location, shot with direction. Follow an animal, a wave, grass moving in the wind, or start from the ground, rise up, hold the main element for a few seconds and close in the sky. That could transition beautifully into a drone shot going from pointing down to 0 degrees. Now let's talk about locations. Iceland has an insane amount of material out there, books, reels, photos, everything. I'll be traveling in a group, so the route is fairly set. We'll drive the ring road from Reykjavik along the south coast toward Selfoss. Even if the stops are fixed, I'm studying in advance what to shot in each location, where to go, the best spots for every sunrise and sunset in these 7 days. I bought Kevin Reed's Iceland Photography Travel Guide to get the perspective of an experienced photographer who knows the place very well. The book is super complete, organized by itineraries and not focused only on mainstream spots. And of course YouTube and Instagram for ideas and references from other creators. I organize all the research on my Milanote board, one board for the taste of, specific shot ideas, location images, voiceover notes, and another board organized day by day according to the trip schedule with must-see spots and key shots to get. So each day I can check things in order without mixing them up in the not chronological or chaos of the taste of. And now let's talk about the gear. To wrap this chapter about the how, let's talk equipment. My travel companion will be my Tarion backpack. I'll bring my two main cameras, the Loomis S5 2X and the GH6. On the S5 I will use the Sigma Art 2470 f2.8 as my main lens and the Sigma Art 1424 f2.8 for wide shots. On the GH6 I will keep the Olympus 75-300 for a telephoto always ready, no gimbal. I will mount the X5 on a zero cage for better control while shooting, and another thing that changed my life for this kind of setup are these two backpack clips. On the right strap I always have a quick release plate for the GH6. On the left strap I have a mount to quickly attach my Insta360 for the BTS shots. With this configuration I feel great, fast, versatile, ready for anything. Now the drones. I need to fit in my backpack two drones, my new DJI Air 3S and the Avata 2. Of course with remotes, batteries, charging hubs, filters, spare props, everything. And besides drones and my main cameras, I'll bring the Insta360 and with the invisible stick, tripod, memory cards, extra batteries, chargers, filters. We will see how much the backpack can actually handle. Oh, and the laptop with a hard drive to offload footage every night. One obsession of mine when I travel is comfort and speed. Sometimes tiredness or laziness can make you skip a shot just because you don't want to unpack and set up your gear. With this setup I'm always ready, as fast as possible to hit record. Even this controller cover for the Air 3S is designed so I don't have to remove the sticks every time before putting it back in the bag. The where isn't Instagram or YouTube, it's the perception I want to build. The last point isn't technical, it's strategic. Where will I publish this material, but more importantly, where do I want it to take me? It's not just platform, but perception. The where isn't Instagram or YouTube, it's the perception I want to build. Do I want to be seen as someone who follows trends or someone who builds a language? Every post communicates something, not just the content, it communicates who you are. That's why I divided the material in a very specific way. YouTube for the full process, Taste of Iceland has the cinematic experience, Instagram for coherent extracts, TikTok for drones. YouTube is the place for depth, that's where I publish the process, the structure, the reasoning. It's definitely the platform I love the most. It's hard, but it allows for deeper, slower, less superficial communication compared to the others. And the taste of is what I want to last. My main objective, the BTS, will be a consequence. A more personal way to show the experience and everything behind the taste of. Instagram will be a fast showcase moments, TikTok equals drones. That profile has taken that direction and I want to keep going that way. The where is direction. Where do I want to be in a year? What kind of creator do I want to become? If I post without asking myself that question, I'm just filling space. If I post with that question in mind, I'm building something. Why, what, how, where. Guys, if you made in this far, thank you. This is probably my longest video, but I really think it's packed with value. If you love this world, I'm sure many of you saw yourselves in my works, living with the mind that's the engine of what we do, the thing that makes us creative, a volcano of ideas, but at the same time limits us and sabotage us. I hope you find a way here to bring order in the chaos and through structure focus on what truly matters. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so when I'm back home from this trip you'll see the result of this whole process. So guys, see you from Iceland. Bye!